Hey, what's going on guys? Tanmay here for Telesco Learnings, and in this video tutorial, which is sort of like the part 3 of regular expressions in JavaScript, we are going to be understanding repeating characters in regular expressions. We are going to take a look at some special characters that can be used in regular expressions, and lastly we are also going to be performing validations for a proper mobile number. Okay, so these are the three things that we are going to be doing in this video tutorial. So as you can see on the screen, I have already opened up the regex101.com website wherein you can validate for a particular regular expression. We've seen this website in the first part of regular expressions also. So what we'll do is we'll first try to understand the regular expression on this website, because this will give us an exact idea about how the regular expression works, and then we'll take this regular expression and go to the coding part to perform the actual coding in JavaScript. So in the previous video we saw character sets and ranges. So when you want to give a particular character set, you give square brackets and inside that you specify the character set. So right now what I've specified is our regular expression can have either A, B or C as a character. So if I type in A is valid. You can see A is highlighted as blue. If I type in B, B is also highlighted separately. If I type in C, C is also highlighted. But if I type any other text, it is not getting highlighted. By the way, I've turned on the global flag, which means that it will return all the matches it finds. And if you turn it off, it will return only the first match. Right now, let's keep it on. So this was character sets. And if you want to give a character range, you just have to say a hyphen and the starting and ending value. So anything between A to Z will be matched. So I say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we are checking for only one character over here. That is why individually every character is being highlighted. So this is what we saw in the previous video. So let's do this for a mobile number. Let's try to validate a Indian mobile number. So now what we are going to be doing is, we know that the first value of an Indian mobile number has to be something between 7 to 9, right? So the first number can be 7, 8 or 9. Now I'm not sure if we have numbers starting from 6. I don't think so in India. But we have numbers starting from 7, 8 and 9. So this is the first number. And then we have 9 more numbers, right? So they can be anything between 0 to 9. So now I can say 0 to 9. So this is for the second position in the string, right? In the entire string. So the first position can be occupied by a number which is between 7 to 9. The second position can be occupied between 0 to 9. Again, the third position can be occupied between 0 to 9, and this goes on and on, right? So I can copy this and I can paste it for the fourth position, for the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth and ninth. So this is valid. This will work. Let's try to input a number and let's see if this works. So I'm going to say, so I just inputted a 10-digit number, but it is not getting highlighted because the first character, that is the first digit, is not between 7 and 9. So let's change that. When I do 7, I'm getting a highlightation of the first 10 digits because I specified only 9 places. So let me just copy this 0 to 9 one more time. And there you go, you can get the entire number. But this is still not a proper validation. So why is it not a proper validation? So if I type in anything over here also, it is still getting highlighted, right? So what we are looking for is a particular pattern in the entire string. This is not what we want. What we want is, we want a particular 10-digit number. So it has to be only 10 digits. So if you type anything after the 10 digits, it should be invalid. But right now, if you see, the highlightation is on, which means it is valid, right? So this is an issue which we will tackle in a minute. Let's see one more thing before that. So instead of typing the 0 to 9, 0 to 9, 0 to 9 n number of times, what I can do is, when there are certain repeating characters, I can just specify the number of times it is repeated in curly braces. So this 0 to 9 is repeated 9 times, right? So in this curly braces, I can say 9, which means that this 0 to 9 number has to be repeated 9 more times. So this is equivalent to writing this entire thing 0 to 9, 0 to 9, 9 different times. So instead of that, this is very easy, right? And this is also valid with characters. So if I say A to Z, even this will work, but now the string has to be 7 to 9 and then followed by some characters. Okay. So this is for repeating characters. You can use curly braces and the number of times you want it to be repeated. So this was one thing. Now I also wanted to talk about some special characters that can be used instead of numbers or words. So when you want to specify some digits, let's say you want to specify 0 to 9, right? So instead of writing 0 to 9 in the square brackets, what you can do is you can replace this 0 to 9 with a backward slash and D. So this is the same thing. So let me just go to the coding part and I'll tell you what it is. So there are many special characters, but right now we're just looking at 4 different ones. So backward slash D means match any digit which is equal to 0 to 9. So instead of writing 0 to 9 in square brackets for that range, if you just write in slash D, it means one and the same. Similarly, when you want to match any word character, that is A to Z in small caps, A to Z in large caps, that is capital caps, 0 to 9 and underscore, you can simply write /w. So coming to the website, instead of having something like A to Z, then A to Z, so this is valid, right? So instead of this, you can also write /w. Okay. Similarly, S is for white spaces, that is for example spaces and tabs. If you want to match spaces and tabs, that is if you want your regular expression string to match for a particular space or a particular tab, you can say /s, or if you're just looking for a tab, you can use /t. Okay. So these are the 4 generally used or most typically used special keywords. And now let's move on with the actual mobile number validation. So up until now, what we did is we said that we want a range of 7 to 9 for the first digit. Then we said we want all the digits for 9 more times, right? So this is something that we have achieved up until now. But the problem here is, let's say we enter a proper number 7 and then 9 times 8. So this is valid. However, if you type something else before and after it, it is still getting validated. So now let's try to use this in our actual code. So I'm gonna just copy this regular expression. So in the coding part, I've already written some code. Let me just quickly explain to you. It is pretty much similar to what we did in the previous 2 videos. So if you watch that, this would be very easy to understand. So here what I did is I have an input type with ID text1. I have named the placeholder as cell phone because we are validating for cell phone. Then we have a label which is hidden, so it's not visible as of now. We will make it visible when we get a valid or invalid entry. I've given it an ID of LBL text. And we have a button which is named as submit. It is not a type of submit button, it is a basic button. But when we click on it, we call the validate function. So in the validate function, I'm taking the text into a variable named text from document.getElementById by accessing the text1. So text1 is the ID given to the input type. So that's how I'm accessing the value, whatever you enter inside this text box. And then I'm passing the regular expression over here. So this is where we want to pass the new regular expression that we just typed in the website. And in the if else, what I'm checking is if we get a match. So this is the test method which returns true if we get a match of this pattern in that string, and that string is stored inside this text variable, right? So whatever we enter over here in the text box gets into this text variable. We are passing that text variable inside this test method. This test method will check if this regular expression pattern is there inside this text. If it is there, then what I'm doing is I'm accessing the label which is having an ID of LBL text. So this is that label. I'm accessing the inner HTML, which means I'm accessing the value which is inside the label, that is the text inside the label which is invalid currently, and I'm changing it to valid. The next thing that I'm doing is I'm making it visible by accessing the style.visibility attribute, and lastly I'm changing the color to green. So this is basically CSS manipulation, and if it is not matching, then I'm doing the text as invalid. I'm still keeping it visible, but I'm changing the color to red. Okay, so I'm not popping up an alert box, I'm doing it a little bit differently. And I hope you've got the idea. You can pause the video if you want to type it out. But this is pretty basic that we've done in the previous videos also. Okay, so let's type in a number and let's see if it is valid or invalid. So again, typing in 9 and then 9 times 7. So this is valid, right? Because we started off with 9. Let's say if we start off with 0, this would be invalid, right? Because the first digit has to be between 7 to 9. So let's again make it 7 and this is valid. However, the problem arises when even if I type in some other text before and after this, it is still going to be showing us valid. See, if I'm clicking on it, it is still valid. So we are not performing cell phone or mobile number validation properly over here. So what is being missing is the start and end of the regular expression. That is, we want to define that it has to be only 10-digit numbers, right? So we cannot have 11 digits or we cannot have less than 10 digits also. So how do we specify this? So this is specified by 2 different special characters which defines the start and the end of the string. That is the start and the end of the pattern. So in the regular expression, the start of the regular expression is given by a caret sign. So do not confuse this caret sign with the caret sign which was inside. So when you have a caret sign inside a square brackets and then you have something, so this caret sign means that 7 to 9 cannot exist as the first digit. Okay. So when you have a caret sign inside a square bracket, whatever you type in inside the square bracket after the caret sign cannot be used as the first location or the location wherever you have specified that square brackets. Okay. So let me just show it to you. So when I have caret sign inside the square bracket and I have 7 to 9, and if I type in 7 and then 9 times 9, this will give me invalid because now I don't want 7 to 9 as the first digit. So this is basically negating that. Okay, so when you want to exclude something, you type in caret inside square brackets. If I remove this and if I try to again input the same number and submit, it will give me valid. So don't confuse this caret with the outside caret. So when you have an outside caret, it turns blue. So this basically points the first or the starting point of your regular expression. So now if I input the number again and submit it, I'm still getting valid. But if I have anything at the start, now it will give me invalid. Okay, so we have defined the starting point and it has to be starting with 7 to 9, right? But here the string is starting with SD, so that's why it is giving us invalid. So one part is done. But what about the end of the string? So if I type in something over here, it will still give me valid. So this is where another character comes in, and that is $. So this $, denotes the end of the string. Okay, so now if I enter this number again, and if I try to add some value at the end and at the start, it will give me invalid. If I remove this and if I still have something else at the end, it will still give me invalid. So only when I remove this FG extra and have 10 digits which are having this pattern, that is the first digit has to be between 7 to 9 and followed by digits 9 times, only then it is going to give me valid. So now we have properly done cell phone validation. So I hope you've understood what is this caret sign and $sign for. This caret sign denotes the start of the regular expression, and this $sign basically denotes the end of the regular expression in simple words. And whatever we have inside has to be exactly in that pattern. So in this case, what we have inside is the first digit has to be between 7 to 9, and then we are using this slash digit instead of this slash D. You can also have 0 to 9, right? So this is one and the same. That's what we discussed over here. And now if you enter anything which matches this pattern, we will get valid. Okay, so this was proper mobile number validation. Now this was specifically for Indian mobile numbers because it starts from 7 to 9. If you are from some other country, obviously your regular expression will be different. And one last thing that I would want you guys to try out is try out a regular expression wherein the first character has to be between 5 to 9. Okay, then the next 8 characters, so first character has to be between 5 to 9. Next 8 characters have to be between A to Z, and last character has to be a 0. Okay, so try out this regular expression, and what you can do is you can just comment out the regular expression in the comment section below, and then I'll check and let you know if it's correct or not. You can also check that on the website, which is regex101.com. so obviously you'll get to know whether it is correct or not. But let me know in the comments if you are able to solve this regular expression example. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you got an idea about how to validate mobile numbers using regular expressions in JavaScript, and we also saw some different special characters and how to perform repeat